Hello, mamas, and welcome to Empowered Hospital Birth, the podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth. I am the founder of Looma Birth and Empowered Hospital Birth Online. I am a childbirth educator, birth and postpartum doula, and a mama of 3 beautiful babies. Here at Looma Birth and Empowered Hospital Birth, we believe hospital birth can be informed, supported, and deeply empowering, no matter if you're planning to be unmedicated or fully medicated in your birth experience. Every week, this podcast is here to help you feel calm, confident, and prepared for wherever your birth journey will bring you. So grab a cup of coffee, take a couple of deep breaths, and today, let's get into this episode. I just recorded the Papas and Partners podcast episode, and I want to talk about what does a birth doula actually do, and my hint is it's way more than you think. I think doulas are one of the most misunderstood members of a birth team. So today, I really want to just pull back the curtains on what we actually do and what we don't do and why it might be a good fit for you in your birth experience, mamas. So papas and partners, you are all here. You are all included. We are here for all of the things. So first off, I want to start off by saying that we as birth doulas are there for the physical and the emotional support for our mamas. We are not there as part of the medical team. We are not the same as midwives. That is like one of the first questions I get right off the bat. Or are you just a midwife? No, I am not. I am not medical. I am never going to do a cervical exam. I'm never going to take your blood pressure or ask how much you weigh. Okay. I am not there for biomechanic feedbacks of any kind. I am not medical for you. So now that we have established that doulas are not medical and the things that we're not going to do there, we are there to hold the bucket of becoming a mama. And whether it is your first baby or your third or your fifth, like I keep saying, it doesn't matter because you are becoming a mama for this baby. Your family is changing. It's growing. The dynamics are shifting. And so having somebody there for that support is so special. And that's what I get to do as a birth doula. So first off, we meet with our families prenatally to work together. This is where a big part of that relationship gets built because we are working together to support you. So birth is not this isolated day. It is not this ice cream sundae cherry on top situation. Birth is accumulation of everything, of all your lived experience prior. And then that obviously is going to snowball and lead you right out to all the things that happen afterwards as well. So as a birth doula, I show up with my families prenatally to help them with planning for their birth, right? Like, let's educate them. So that's going to start with education, whether they're taking the Empowered Hospital Birth class with me directly, or they're doing a DIY version online, or they're doing some other kind of education. It is so critically important that my clients feel educated. That is a huge part of my job as a doula, to show up giving resources, sharing those resources, and helping them figure out the right education tools to feel empowered. Now, obviously, I have my signature class that I've developed, the Empowered Hospital Birth Online class, but there's so many other options out there. The Bradley method, hypnobabies, hypnobirthing, birthing from within, tons of other options out there. And I am not biased. Oh, you have to take my class or we can't work together. I really want my clients to know all of the classes that are out there, what fits their budget, what fits their price range, what fits their time availability, and how much are they willing to invest into this experience. Bradley method, and we're going to talk about birth education in a different episode. I'm going to stay focused on birth doulas. But right, there are different modalities that are right for my family. So first thing as a birth doula is I'm going to walk them through their education options and make sure that they're getting educated so we can empower them. I'll share a lot of my own local and online resources with them. And then that's going to lead them to actually be able to sit down. Now, as a birth doula myself, I like to sit down and have at least 2 meetings. I call those my meat and potato meetings, where we're going to talk about birth planning. We're going to talk about those preferences. We're going to process some fears together. We're going to prep the partners. We're going to do all of those things, right? But that is part of that prenatal prep that birth doulas provide. Each doula provides it slightly differently in their own way. A lot of them are, work for themselves, independent contractors. And so they have built a way that works for them in their business. But birth doulas are going to sit down. We're going to help you write your birth preference list. We're going to walk through the what ifs. We're going to make sure your partner is prepared and that they understand what we're showing up to do. And we're going to practice. We're going to practice those comfort cares. We're going to empower your partners. And this is why I was so excited to record these episodes back to back, honestly, because I just talked all about the papas and partners in the last episode. This is where papas shine and partners shine the best, is with a doula. And let me break that down, because when we go into labor, right, obviously we're going to help prep you for all those things that we just talked about. That's groovy. That's awesome. You can hire us virtually to walk you through those things and then prep you. But when it really comes to what benefit that the doula is doing, it's really when we get into labor. Now that starts from early labor and goes obviously until your baby is there on your chest with you. So early labor for families, this is where doulas are going to be doing phone support for the majority of the support. We're going to help you figure out how to time these contractions, these pressure waves, these surges. We're going to make sure that you understand what is happening in the body and how we can keep mama comfortable during this time. And then we're going to help you navigate making some of those choices. We, as a birth doula, are never going to make choices for you. We're offering you options. Like, when is it time to go to the hospital? You don't have to make that decision alone as a family unit, because your doula will be able to provide insight of pros and cons to the situation. We'd be able to talk it through at a very logical brain, because one of those things that is happening is all of those hormones are surging through mama. Logical brain is not operating, right? Papas and partners, you're probably super emotional as well. You're watching the person you love the most go through something really intense. You're still at home, most likely. How do you navigate that? That's where you call your birth doula and you say, hey, this is what's happening. What do we do? And your birth doula can get on the phone, get on a FaceTime, possibly come over and help support you and navigate those choices, decisions, and keep both of you comfortable. Now, what happens next is even more magical. We will come and join you in the hospital or the birth center, wherever you're giving birth, to support you in real time. So this is where those game day decisions, right? We have our preferences. We have to be flexible. Those game day decisions no longer fall to just the two of you. You have a coach. You have somebody experienced with birth, somebody experienced with the system, somebody experienced with your personal preferences, who is staying logical and full of her facilities. She's not going through labor. She is not having all of those hormonal surges. So she or they are able to help you navigate those real-time choices. So they can remind you, your doula, I'm going to show up for you and I'm going to, hey, like, this is a really great time to try to shower. Or, hey, let's turn off the lights and turn on some quiet music and see if we can get a nap in. We're going to make those suggestions in real time, because we have a bigger and better understanding of what's actually happening in mama's body. And we can read that room and we can interpret that for you in real time. Now, obviously, we're going to be helping with things like comfort cares, like I just talked about, position changes to help keep labor comfortable and moving and engage your baby. We're going to keep you confident, papas and partners, right? We're going to make sure that you know the next thing to say, to do, to ask about. We're going to make sure that you're empowered to ask the right questions, to get those birth preferences respected and listened to. And then the best thing about the birth doula is that we're going to make sure that papas and partners' human needs are being met too. So much focus and attention goes to mama in labor. And don't get me wrong, obviously she is the Olympic gold star in that moment and deserves all of the recognition. But papas and partners, like, that is where the work starts. And there is no gain in ignoring your humanity. So whether it's something as small as needing to go to the bathroom, or something a little bit bigger, like getting a meal, not just trail mix out of the backpack, or just taking a break, clearing your head, going outside, feeling the sunshine on your skin, right? Regulating your nervous system so you can come back in to continue supporting the intensity that is labor. When you get to be human and you get to go do those things, like go take the bathroom and go see the cafeteria and go for a walk, your mama's not left alone. Right? Your birth doula is your trading spaces. And just like your birth doula is going to be trained to be like, hey, it's lunchtime, I need to take a lunch break. Papa's, you're recharged. You come back from your lunch break and you're able to stay there. And you have this team built in to the support of mama and to the support of this birth. with your birth doula. And this is really where the magic comes from, because then papas and partners aren't 100% depleted, just like mama, when the baby shows up. Because really, that's where the work begins for papas and partners. Like I said at the end of my last episode, that's where you've got to be on for making all of those things. So birth doulas really enhance working with papas and partners to make this birth be the best birth that it possibly can be. Now, can family members step up into this role? Absolutely. But there's obviously a difference between the professionalism and the training for birth, physiological birth, understanding the hospital system, how to advocate and work within that system, all of those things. We come in with lots of our own professional training. But when we're in that labor, that is our job. We are there to support mama with comfort measures, position changements, words of affirmation and encouragement. We're going to be there to support partners in similar ways. We're going to help explain common interventions. So yes, you learned about Pitocin during your birth education class, but now let's apply it in real time to your game day decision that you need to make. And then after baby comes, we're there to help with that transition. We typically birth doulas stay through that first latch, that first hour or so of postpartum. We're going to continue to follow up with you. That relationship doesn't end just because your baby's earthside. We're going to help close that loop by talking with you to process your birth story. Sometimes that can be also really valuable and not spoken a lot about in the industry, where we come over to your home 1 or 2 weeks postpartum and we start that process of talking about your birth. That starts the processing here. We're not giving medical advice. We're not giving you therapy, but we're checking in emotionally and physically to make sure that what is happening is understood and it doesn't feel scary or overwhelmed. Now, one of the other big things that birth doulas will do, because we're so invested in our local birth communities, is that we are going to have a huge resource list for you. So when you are postpartum and maybe you're feeling extra emotional and weepy and you think it is outside the norm, your birth doula can see that, hear that, and refer you to somebody who can actually help you. You're having issues peeing the bed, peeing yourself, right? 3 months, 6 months, 9 months postpartum, you contact that birth doula again, and they're going to have resources in their local community for pelvic floor PTs and other options for you. So we are a huge resource of the community that are literally at your fingertips. We're going to be constantly checking in both prenatally and postpartum to make sure that our families feel seen, supported, and heard in this process. And that's so much of what that birth doula relationship is. It is holding space. When I first started as a birth doula, I would literally come over to my home or my clients' homes, and I would hold my arms out like so, big basket here. And I'd be like, okay, dump it all in. Let's hear it. Because there is so much information being thrown at you. There are so many stories being told to you that are helpful and unhelpful, right? And you have to figure out how to filter all of this, especially when you're a first-time mom trying to figure out navigating all of your options. It is emotionally draining. And so your doula becomes this safe space for you to share all of the things. A birth doula relationship is really very special and very unique. And that is why I'm so passionate in helping families find the right support. Because I realized as I grew as a birth doula that I am not the right support for every single family that was contacting me. And that's where Looma grew, right? That's where our agency came from, is because even if I loved talking with this family, maybe it didn't work out for the timing or a budget restraints. It wasn't the perfect personality fit, right? Things just felt a little off because, let's be honest, it's 2026. We can say when the vibes aren't right. And so I don't want to leave my family ever with a dead end. I just want to be like, oh, I'm not a good birth doula for you, but muscle tough, best of luck. No. And so I built relationships with other doulas, and I could refer them to a doula who I thought personality-wise might be a better fit, or availability, didn't have a vacation during their due window, or whatever it was. And that's where Looma grew so organically. And it's been so cool to grow myself as a doula, but also see this side. I love helping families find the right doula for their needs. And it changes from birth to birth, whether it's your first to your second, third, fourth, fifth babies, or whether, all the things. There's so many reasons to choose the right birth doula. But at the end of the day, when and if you're looking to hire a birth doula, I want you to take into account their professional background. I want you to take into account their availability to show up for you and your family in the ways that you want, right? As I said, every doula has their own schedule and their own packages of how they put things together. And then on the flip side, I want you to do a vibe check. If it is not a big, loud yes in your gut that this is the person to support you, keep talking to doulas. There are so many of us out there in this world right now that I promise you there is somebody who's going to resonate and be that excited person that you want to have. Go find that person. If you need help and you're local in Southern California, of course, please reach out to me. But otherwise, I hope you found this episode to be helpful in explaining just how a birth doula can show up for you, your papa, your partner, and support you in your birthing time. Thanks for tuning into the podcast. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. I hope today's conversation helped you feel a little more informed, a little more confident, and a little more empowered as you prepare for your birth journey. If you enjoyed this episode, I would be so grateful if you subscribed, left a review, or shared it with another expecting parent. And if you're looking for personalized birth support, childbirth education, or postpartum care, I would love to connect with you with a free 20-minute discovery call. You can learn more through the links in the show notes. Until next time, I want you to remember this. You are capable, you are strong, and you don't have to do this alone. I'll see you next week.